guys, welcome back to Lily Reads. In today's video, we are going to be reading 4 books over the week. It is October, it is spooky season, but that does not mean I will be reading any spooky books. I actually usually get more of my spooky thriller reading done in September because October is dedicated to getting as many 5 stars as possible. I like to use October to read the books I believe are going to be 5-star books. Books that either I was looking forward to all year, books that really fit like the books that I usually enjoy. And so I like to read them and see if I'm going to get 5 stars. So for this vlog, I chose 4 books that are like either young adult or from authors who have written young adult that I have enjoyed. And I am going to see if they're 5 stars. That's the whole point. The whole point of this video is me trying to get a 5-star book. So the first book we will be reading in this video is You Bet Your Heart by Daniel Parker. This book is just about some kids in high school doing stuff. I usually like books like that when it comes to like Black people or people of color. I just enjoy reading this type of young adult book. It makes me feel good. It gives me the joy I want in October. So we will be reading this book. The next book we're going to be reading is actually not a young adult book, but it's from an author who I've read 3 young adult books from, and it is Elise Bryant. It's Elementary. I believe this is a mystery, maybe a cozy mystery type of book. I honestly really don't know. When I was reading the pitch for it, like before I purchased it or pre-ordered it, I kind of was a little bit confused my damn self of what was going on, but we're going to read this book and figure out what it's about. The next book is from Sonora Reyes, the Luis Ortega Survival Guide. I read another book by this author, and that book was The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, and I thought that book was pretty good. I have been wanting to read this book, like I said, high school, drama, stuff going on. I'm in the mood for October. Just gives me that. It gives me high school. It gives me like football, you know, homecoming. It gives me all of that, so I want to read like high school type of books, and so we are going to be reading this. And the last book we are going to read is from an author I have given 5 stars twice to. And that is from Crystal Maldonado. I have read 2 books from this author and gave her 5 stars twice. And so we are going to read The Fall of Whit Rivera in this vlog. And this is just so freaking on theme, just based off of just, you know, look at the vibes, look at the pumpkin, look at the sweater, look at the, it's giving it. Anyways, those are the books we are going to read in this vlog. So you guys just get to follow me for the week, and I will talk to you guys later. I know you can only see half of my face. Anyways, I'm coming for our first reading update. We are going to discuss You Bet Your Heart by Danielle Parker. In this book, we are following 2 biracial kids, and basically they go to this high school, and this girl is expecting to be valedictorian. She has been on track to be valedictorian her entire time in high school. This is a big deal because at this school, valedictorian gets a check for like $40,000 or $30,000, and she wants that money to help her go off to college because she is Korean and Black, and her dad, who was Black, he died, and so she lives with her Korean mother. Her Korean mother cleans homes, and they don't really have a lot of money. She knows that her mom wants to go back to school to go get her degree, and so she just doesn't want to burden her mom with having to pay for her higher education. So she wants this, you know, she wants the check. Well, one day this guy and her get called into the principal's office, and the principal tells them like, hey, you guys are like on track to both be valedictorian, but both of you can't be valedictorian. So like, we're really going to get down to specificities to figure out who's going to be valedictorian. So keep your grades up. And she's upset because she actually knows this boy. Her and this boy used to be friends. But then something happened between the two of them a few years ago. He moved away and they haven't been friends. And she's like, I'm not sharing nothing with this boy. I've been at this school the entire time. I deserve it. And he's like, hold up. You don't deserve nothing. Like, whoever get the grades, get the grades. So anyways, our girl character in this book, she's just like, I don't even want to have to deal with this for the rest of the school year. So let's make a bet. Let's make a bet that whoever gets the best 2 out of the next 3 grades in the classes we have in common, they will become valedictorian. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tell the principal that we settled it. So they make a bet to see who is going to be valedictorian. And doing this bet, it makes them like start spending time together. And you know how that goes. This book is cute enough. I don't think we're barking up 5-star tree, which is what I want from these books. But I will say the dynamic between these two kids is actually really cute. They have some cute banter. It's adorable. The problem with this book, the biggest issue with this book is not a young adult book. This book is a middle grade book. This book is a middle grade book disguising itself as young adult because the characters are 18 years old. But these characters do not read like 18-year-olds. These read like middle schoolers. These read like really, really young kids. The stuff that they talk about is very, very young. Like I don't think this book is a young adult book. And so it's reading really young, but they're 18. And so something there isn't working. Also, something about the writing in this book is really choppy. I would have to keep reading to like really go further into that. So like, yeah, this book is easy to read and like I'm going to finish it and I think I'm going to like it well enough, but I'm like not absolutely in love with this book. But anyways, I'm going to finish it and yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts later. Okay. We have chicken that's been de-thawing since yesterday because I was going to cook chicken yesterday but didn't. We have the asparagus that's going to go bad. And then we have some potatoes. So everything is in the oven, which is like the best meal when you can just shove everything into the oven. That is so fun. That is so great. I'm going to get to use my beautiful Crate and Barrel pot. So yeah, you guys can just watch me and yeah, I'm going to do all this. been working a little bit, but I need to come and give you guys my final thoughts on You Bet Your Heart by Daniel Parker. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 3 out of 5 stars. This was a cute enough book, but I do think this book is for people in middle grade. I'm going to be really, really honest. I don't see anyone in the young adult range. So I'm thinking young adult 15, 16, 17, 18 really being able to like deeply love it. Just reads really, really young. The characters act really, really young, and there's a lack of depth to the book that makes it feel like middle grade. Even though these characters are seniors in high school, they're not reading like seniors in high school. They don't interact like seniors in high school. They just act like really, really young. They act like middle schoolers. This book feels like I'm reading a book about middle schoolers. So that didn't really work for me. Another thing about this book that's really bizarre is like something will happen between our characters. Someone will say something and a character will just jump to a huge conclusion. Like someone will just be like, oh, I'm going to the mall today. And it'll be like, oh, you're going to the mall because you hate my guts. And it's just like, wait, why are characters jumping to these huge conclusions? That was something really weird about this book. And then if you read young adult as much as I read young adult, you are aware that in a young adult book, there is always a moment where the main character of the book, their entire life just comes crumbling down. Their entire life comes crumbling down, and everyone in the book hates them. It happens in almost every single young adult book. This book, our main character just gets a totally like different personality, like just personality transplant, and just becomes honestly the worst person imaginable. This is one of the few books where I actually think nobody should have forgiven her. Everyone should have just been like, you're weird. We don't want to be friends with you anymore. She didn't deserve anyone coming back and wanting to hang out with her ever again. Like, she was so mean and so rude. That's another thing, but that's just about, the book. That's just a thought on the book. That has nothing to do with, like, the writing. I don't think it's just a thing that happened. So, yeah, I'm going to give this book 3 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite young adult book in the world. And because this month is all about 5 stars, I thought this could be. But I'm happy I read it. It was a good palate cleanser. I'm in a diet reading slump, so it's good to just finish a book, So we're going to move on to Elise Bryant, It's Elementary. I am so excited to get started on this book later today. Yeah, I'm going to have a good time with this book. I'm going to try to finish it in 2 days, but I'm definitely going to try to knock out a good portion of it today. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to give my initial thoughts on It's Elementary by Elise Bryant. I have made it to the 150 page mark, so I feel like I can come and give intro thoughts. So in this book, We are following a woman. She is a single mother. She is living with her father. She like pays her father like rent and stuff, and so she lives there. And she goes to a really like good public school where her kid is in second grade, and she goes to a really good public school. And at this public school, there is a PTA. This woman named Trisha is head of the PTA, and she kind of corners our main character Mavis, and it's like, hey, you don't do enough at the school. You need to chip in and you need to like do something since your daughter goes to this school. So she decides to join the PTA even though she doesn't want to. And she goes to a PTA meeting, and at the PTA meeting, the principal, they have a new principal, he shows up at the PTA meeting, and he kind of deads this idea that they're going to become a gifted school. Because he's just like, they decided not to do it. That really upsets Trisha, the head of the PTA, because Trisha had this idea that this public school will become a gifted school, and that will help her kids get into Stanford, because this school, I think, goes all the way up to like it's one of those schools where like, yeah, there's kids in second grade, but also kids in 12th grade. Like every grade is at this school. So she's like, my kid could have gotten to Stanford if this became a gifted school, whatever. So she's really pissed off that this new principal has decided to dead the idea. Well, Trisha goes home and she decides to walk her dog. They live near the school, and when she's walking her dog, she hears something at the school, and she goes to investigate it, and she sees Trisha doing something in the middle of the night at the school. And she thinks Trisha saw her, so she runs away. Well, the next day, we find out that the principal is missing. Nobody seems to be concerned that the principal is missing. Even, like, the police are kind of like, he'll come back. Maybe he had marital issues, whatever. But Mavis knows she saw something weird happen the night before he went missing. And so she's like, I should probably get to the bottom of this. Well, there's this guy who is a psychologist at the school. He hits it off with Mavis because Mavis was getting a parking ticket, and he kind of helped her get out of it. And they've decided they're going to investigate it. He is the only person who believes her when she says that something weird is afoot. So he's like, let's investigate it. So this starts Mavis on the journey of investigating why the principal is missing, who is a part of it, and what is going on. So here is the thing. I don't like cozy mysteries. I am on record not liking cozy mysteries. I don't really like, amateur sleuthing. And the reason why I don't like cozy mysteries for the most part is because I believe that most of them are idiot plots. I believe that most of them are plots that only are able to exist because everyone in the book is an idiot. No one does anything that makes any sense, and you're supposed to believe that's what makes it fun, that's what makes it crazy, that's what makes it wacky. But I just think everyone is behaving like an idiot, and that's the only way that these plots are able to exist. Idiot plots. What is working about this book is a cozy mystery, and Mavis is sleuthing, but no one's acting weird or strange. This is just really a regular contemporary story with kind of a mystery in it. We actually get to see multiple parts of Mavis' life. We get to see Mavis with her daughter. We get to see Mavis crushing on this guy. We get to see Mavis at work. We get to see Mavis doing regular stuff, and there's drama in all facets of her life. And then there's something going on at the school. Like, the school and what's going on does not take up a huge portion of the book. And so it also leaves kind of the mystery there. Like, I'm kind of curious about what's going on with this principal. Like, what's really going on? Because there's like an obvious person who did it, like, right, Trisha. But like, what if Trisha didn't do it? Who the hell? Like, what's going on at this school? So like, I'm interested in that, but also I'm interested in Mavis' life, what's going on with Mavis. Mavis is still part of the PTA. And so there's a lot of stuff going on to where this just feels like a full book, And I never truly feel like cozy mysteries are full books, because I constantly talk about how, like, in a lot of cozy mysteries, their entire life just gets pushed to the side for them to investigate something that really don't got that much to do with them. Like, girl, it ain't that deep. And so I'm just like, no one would ever do this. Like I said, idiot plot, where like none of this really matters all that much, But this book, like, I'm on page 150, and it feels like you're just reading about Mavis's life, and then there's something going on at the school, you know? So like if you're somebody who does like that like cozy mystery, wacky, everything is surrounding this mystery and you need to figure out what it is, this probably isn't the book for you. But this is, to me, how I personally like my cozy mysteries, my like whodunit type of books when it comes to more books like this. So I actually am enjoying this book. I have a fun time reading it. I've been reading it 50 pages at a time, and I want to finish it today. And I'm just like, oh, it'll be no problem to knock out the next, next, 200 pages. So I have to read 50 pages 4 more times, right? 4 more, like I can do that. Like that's fine. So I'm enjoying myself, but I'm going to take a little break for lunch. And then I will get back into it and try to knock out maybe 100 more pages and then try to finish it before bed, okay? Peace. Guys, it is the end of the night. I am about to do my skincare routine. Once I got my fresh rose water toner, it's skincare routine time. I have a new one that I have. Anyways, I have finished It's Elementary, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and give the book 3.75 stars. I enjoyed the book well enough. I think I enjoyed the book as much as I was probably ever going to enjoy like a cozy mystery. If I had to give some critiques of the book, I do think maybe Mavis, our main character, our like sleuth in the book, she could be a little bit more interesting. She kind of was like a blank canvas, and you really didn't get to know a lot about her personality. And when you're dealing with like a cozy mystery or someone who's sleuthing and investigating, they kind of need to have a really strong narrative voice so you want to follow them throughout the book. And hers was just kind of, in the middle. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. Side characters, they weren't interesting. So I guess the weakest part of this book was the characters. At no point did I really care who in the book did it. Did I want to know who done it? Sure. But I was not all that invested on who in particular did it. I was just curious, but like I didn't have any real feelings towards anyone. I think who didn't do it was a little too obvious. Like there wasn't a lot of players on the board to keep, I think, the mystery all that intriguing all the way through. But what I did enjoy about this book is Elise Bryant is just really good at making contemporary stories. Elise Bryant has that young adult series that's pretty solid. Like she's just really good at writing contemporary characters and giving you contemporary worlds. And this was no different. I enjoyed being dropped into this world. So that was pretty good. Altogether, it was an enjoyable book. It was for this to be Elise Bryant's first, like, adult novel, I believe, and to make it, like, a mystery. Like, I think this was a solid outing. As far as cozy mysteries, this would definitely go high on my favorites. And so if you're someone who reads cozy mysteries, I think you should read this book. I love the cover. It just all worked for me. There is kind of a like a love interest in this book that leaves a lot to be desired. It's not really that good, but it's not also not that much time spent on it for it to really matter. So yeah, that is what I thought of the book. Anyways, we are going to move on to The Fall of Whit Rivera by Crystal Maldonado. That is what I plan on knocking out tomorrow. We'll see how much we can read tomorrow. Anyways, I'm going to finish my skincare routine. I got in the mail this Lancome Renergy Lift Multi-Action Night Cream. It says anti-rides firming anti-wrinkle night cream. I don't know what any of that means. This is also part of the same line, so I don't know what this does, but like I'm willing to try. You can never have like too much anti-aging stuff, I don't think. Even though, like, am I the person who needs anti-aging? I don't know. I think people honestly think I'm too young. Whenever people like meet me in real life, like when I have human interactions in real life, everyone is always so shocked at how old I am. Like so shocked at how old I am. I was at the library a few weeks ago, and I had my partner's library card and it wasn't my library card. And why did that lady ask? She was like, "Oh, this person lives in the house with you. Is it your dad?" And I'm just like, do I look like I would live with my parents? Like, is it giving parents? Like, I was so confused. She was like, "Oh, is this your dad? Who's library card is this?" And I'm like, my dad? Like, do I look like I live with like my dad? Do I look like a child? But that's no different than one time. This was actually 2 years ago at the exact same library. The lady asked me about the high school. She asked me about stuff that was going on in the high school. And I'm just like, I get it. I have a youthful spirit, and also I dress pretty young. Like, that's just my aesthetic. I like to wear pink. I like ponytails, puffballs. But like, do I look like a little kid? Oh my gosh. Even the lady who braids my hair, she was saying how young I look. So like, maybe I need to let the anti-aging stuff go and like let Mother Nature do her thing on my face, because everyone is always so shocked to learn that, yeah, baby, not only am I grown, but I'm like grown. Like, when I went back to my alma mater, people were like, "Oh, you went here 5 years ago?" Yeah. Like, yeah, it's been a long time since I was in college. Like, I'm freaking not in college. Are you guys nuts? Like, I don't know. But let me not gas it before it looks like too much. Like, girl, you don't look that damn young. Anyways, that is my nighttime routine. I like this stuff. This gave me like a little bit of a glow that I am enjoying a little bit. I kind of like that stuff. Anyways, I'll probably not purchase it. Like, I probably won't. Like, I'll probably just use this and just be like, that's great. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. guys, I am here to give initial updates on The Fall of Whit, Rivera by Crystal Maldonado. I have enjoyed 2 books from this author in the past. I will put them up on the screen. So this, of all the books in the video, is the book I'm most excited to get to. I think if we're gonna get a 5-star, we're probably gonna get it out of this author. So let me tell you what's going on in this book. In this book, we are following a senior by the name of Whit. Obviously, it's in the title. We're following a senior by the name of Whit, and basically she is in a long distance relationship with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend has moved to another city, maybe even state, and they've been having some issues because he hasn't really been trying to communicate with her, talk to her, try to see her. So she's feeling a little bit a ways about herself. And then she's also going, like, starting senior year, and she wants to do all these like positions. She has like a government position after school. There's a dance or festival going on, and she wants to be involved in all that. So her life is kind of at this like crossroads of, should she date this guy, should she not, how much should she be involved in school, what's going to happen to her next. She has 2 friends that she's kind of been growing distant from because she's dealing with all this other stuff that is going on. So she's trying to get that back on track. And she also has a sister who has autism, who is starting school as well at this high school. And she's trying to make sure that her sister is able to make that transition from middle school to high school and, you know, not have to deal with like bullies, people not understanding her and all this stuff. So she really has a lot of things going on. But of course, at the root of this is kind of like a romance, because they're in the student government, they're putting on this festival, whatever, and she needs some help doing it, but no one volunteers to help her do it. So this guy who she used to be friends with, used to kind of date 6 years ago, he has stepped in and he's going to help her. She does not want him to help her because she does not like him. And so that kind of just starts off this, you know, thing that is going on. Overall, I am enjoying this book. I love the way this author writes young adult. I don't know what it is. This author writes young adult in such a real and natural way, and it makes everything just interesting. Like, the characters like jump off the page, and that's what I like about her books. Her books just feel so goddamn fun. Another thing going on in this book, this character is dealing with PCOS, and she has been dealing with the fact that her body is changing. She's not having periods. She has facial hair. So she's also not comfortable in her own body, and that's leading to a lot of insecurity in her life. So that's another layer to this story. But yeah, characters are jumping off the page. I will say, unlike the other 2 stories I read from this author, there really doesn't seem to be a huge plot right now. Like we're just walking around following these kids in high school. There's not like a main plot like in the other 2, and I would like to see one, you know, really come together. But anyways, I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Hopefully it's the 5-star that I've been looking for. We didn't get it in the last 2 books. Hopefully this one is it. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Hello, you guys. I am here to give my final updates on The Fall of Whit, Rivera by Crystal Maldonado. It is unfortunate that I have to come and tell you guys that I did not enjoy this book all that much. This book is written well. This book is paced well. This book has characters that are written well. The prose is good. All of those things work. This book's biggest issue is that it is insanely boring. There is nothing going on in this book. And when I read the last 2 books by this author, they were just so like wacky and crazy and fun. And, you know, they had really interesting plots to me. And I just feel like this book did not. This book was just you following this girl kind of throughout her last few months of like high school. Well, it's not. It's fall. So she actually has like a year left in high school. But like, you're just following her and like nothing really is happening. The romance in this book is not interesting. Like, the characters weren't doing anything interesting. You just had our main character who was complaining about her life, which, like, okay, great, but that's in every young adult book. I just don't see what sets this book apart from any other young adult book. This book like promises fall vibes. I didn't really get the fall vibes. There wasn't every time there was a chance for this book to have an interesting plot, we kind of just dropped that and move on to something else. I felt like there was a lot of moving parts. None of them came together to, you know, make something that sang in unison. I just did not really like. I want to give this book 3 stars because like there's no huge critique of this book. Like I said, it was just boring. Like it was just a perfectly boring young adult book. So like I want to say 3, but I really think it should get 2.75. It wasn't like, ooh, I want to put this down though. And usually when I give books like in the 2 range, there was a point in which I was considering not reading it anymore, and that wasn't this book. It was really easy to read, and I like Crystal Maldonado's writing, and I would read more from this author. This one just wasn't it, and it like shocked me as I was reading. I was just like, why is this not working? So yeah, I am gonna have to go ahead and give this book, I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3 out of 5 stars. Can we get out of the 3 range? Can we get out of the 3 range in this vlog? We got one more book to find out. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Hello, you guys. We are on our last book. You guys are gonna get so sick and tired of this sweater. I got it off Etsy. It is so cute. I actually thought the quality was gonna be worse than it is. I am going to wear this out. This is going to be my October uniform. Anyways, I am coming to give initial thoughts on the Luis Ortega Survival Guide by Sonora Reyes. This author wrote The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. That book was a National Book Award finalist. I read that book last year, and it's a book I think I would have to go back and revisit because I really don't remember much about it. When I read books really quickly, there's books that like leave no impression on my brain. It doesn't mean they were bad. It doesn't mean they were good. I did give it 4 stars, so I must have enjoyed it, but I can't sit here in good faith and be like, yeah, it was a great book. I know I must have enjoyed it because I gave it 4 stars, but I remember literally nothing about it. So I definitely will be revisiting that book because next year, one of my goals, I'm in my reread era, so I'll be revisiting that book. But anyways, I am reading this book and I have made it to page 200 of this book. So I'm actually almost done with this book. I have like 100 pages left. I want to finish it tonight. And in this book, we are following a character by the name of Ariana. Ariana is in high school and we meet her and she has just lost her virginity and she is leaving the guy's house and she is headed back to her own house. But something about that night was not okay. Like she keeps thinking about the night and she's just like, that wasn't right. Something didn't go the way it was supposed to go. And so she's trying to like replay it over in her head. And she's like, well, maybe this is just how it is when you have sex for the first time. Well, before she knows it, everyone in the school has found out she has lost her virginity to Luis Ortega. And that's unfortunate because she asked Luis Ortega not to tell anybody. So she's just like, if you didn't tell nobody, how does everyone know? Well, Luis Ortega has a girlfriend. Her name is Shawnee. And Shawnee and our main character, Ariana, have been giving each other the stink eye because Shawnee saw Luis and Ariana go into a room together. So she thinks like, oh, you're sleeping with my boyfriend. So she believes Shawnee is the one who started the rumor. Well, one day Ariana gets a message, and this message is like, I'm sorry that happened to you, like something along those lines. She's just like, what? And basically, long story short, the person says like, Luis Ortega is a bad person. He has harmed a lot of girls, and I think he harmed you. And Ariana feels good about that because she thinks something bad happened that night herself. So anyways, basically all of these girls come together and start this group to get back at this guy Luis Ortega because they believe Luis Ortega is a sexual predator. They all have stories against him and they are all going to come together to take down Luis Ortega. And that's what this book is about. 200 pages into this book, it's enjoyable. This is how I like my young adult. I was talking about how the first book we read in this video was really childish. It read middle grade-ish, and it's because I know that when young adult is like fully at its best, it's like this. Like, of course, this still is dealing with like young adult themes. The characters are acting young. They are young. They're in high school, but there's depth to it that I think young adult is supposed to have, and that is what this book is doing. It's interesting. It's hitting on interesting topics that people in high school can actually relate to. There's an interesting premise. All that is not necessary. Anyways, there's an interesting premise, and what I love the most about young adult these days, that I actually think sometimes is better than adult contemporary novels, is that like the characters have something to do. Like there's always a goal that the characters are trying to achieve, and that's what's going on in this book. So I'm actually really enjoying this book a lot. Is it giving 5 stars? It's definitely compulsively readable. Like, I've been taking it 50 pages because for some reason that's just the mood I am. In the past 3 books, I just take them 50 pages at a time. And like I'm reading it and I'm enjoying reading it. But is it a 5 star? I don't know. But I am going to finish this book and I'm going to wrap the video up. That will be it. So yeah, hopefully it is a 5 star. But I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to end the video, but I have to come and give my final thoughts on the Luis Ortega survival guide. I am going to go ahead and give this book 3.5 stars because that is just the brand of this video. Everything is in the threes. This book started off really strong, and I was interested in the characters. I was interested in the story of what was going on. But I do think towards the end, it kind of like fizzled away. Characters started kind of acting irrationally. And a big part of this book is the side characters, like all these women, all these girls coming together to like get this guy back. But like, I don't think any of the characters were really fleshed out. I don't think any of the side characters had anything to do. And even when talking about this idea of revenge and getting revenge on this guy, I don't think the author fully leans into it all that much. I just think this is an interesting premise, but I don't know if it was fully actualized. So altogether, it was easy to read this book. I read this entire book in a day, but I just think like it could have been more. It could have had a little bit more of a punch to it. So I'm giving it 3.5. And that means that for the first time maybe ever, I have read 4 books in a vlog, and none of them were able to make it into the 4 or 5 star range. That's not the first. It's rare that I give every book all threes, like threes across the board. So let's discuss. Let's talk about my favorite book in the video. My favorite book in the video was It's Elementary by Elise Bryant. I rarely like cozy mysteries. I enjoyed this book. If there is more coming from this series, or if this is going to be a series, I would pick up more from this author because I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 3.5, maybe even a 3.7 stars. I enjoyed this book. Winner there. The next book would probably have to be the Luis Ortega Survival Guide. Like I said, had some good things about it. Was very fun to read. I just don't think we fully got to where I needed to go with this book, but it is my second favorite book of this vlog. My third favorite book of this vlog would be You Bet Your Heart. I like the romantic elements of these 2 characters. I thought it was oh so adorable, oh so cute, but I just feel like this book just reads really young. I feel like this is a middle grade book. I'm going to be honest with you. And for the characters to be 18 years old, it shouldn't feel that way, but this book felt very middle grade. It read really young. I thought the writing was a little strange in this book as well, with characters like jumping to conclusions that how did you even get this? Like, I just felt like the book was very choppy in some ways, but I did give this book 3 out of 5 stars. And then the last one, the most disappointing book maybe of the year for me, because I have given this author 2 stars. I've given this author 2 5-stars. Now I'm looking at my bookshelf and I can't even find the books. Let me see if I can find it. I gave this author 2 5-stars in the past with Fat Chance Charlie Vega and No Filter and Other Lies, which I think is one of the most underrated young adult books ever. I enjoyed the hell out of both of these books. And so going into this book, I was just expecting this to just be amazing, and it wasn't. This book was kind of a bore to me. It just didn't have the bouncy funness that these two books had, with also still dealing with, you know, some tough topics. So this was a disappointment for me. I give it 2.75 stars, but I do still recommend getting your hands on Crystal Maldonado's work, because I don't know, I love these two books. Anyways, those are the books. So usually at this time I do a little book haul. I show you guys the books that I got during the week. I still haven't bought any books, and I actually can buy books now because it's my birthday season, but I haven't bought any books. But book of the month came. Book of the month this month did not have any books that I actually wanted. So I went back and got I got like an editor's pick, which is a book that like I haven't really wanted to read, but since like I can get it in book of the month, I guess I'll read it. You were not expecting this book to come out of here. I got my hands on Kristen Hanna's The Women. Kristen Hanna, what can we say? What put Kristen Hanna on the map, right, is The Nightingale. Is that the book that put Kristen Hanna on the map? I read The Four Winds by this author earlier this year, or did I read this book last year? I think I read this book this year. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this book for as much as I can enjoy a book about the Dust Bowl. And so I'm just like, you know what? The Women, since it's in book of the month, do it. Kristen Hanna writes these long-ass historical fiction books that your mother probably loves. I'm going to read this book, and yeah, that's the only book that I got. So that's the end of this one. I will talk to you guys in the next one.